and get into the draft. Hey, what's up, Adafa Yesh? So, format of the draft. This was kind of interesting. I don't know how previous cups handled it, but this cup, something I didn't even realize until really close to the match itself. Um, it's not just the bracket stage setups. You can actually draft from the entire tournament, including the group stage. So that made for some interesting decisions early on. But I guess starting with the bans, um, so I banned Aquarium, which might come as a surprise to some people, but I find Aquarium to be maybe the venue that you can get the most out of research and preparation because it's very behavioral. Like, especially top level spies that have a plan going into this venue because there's so much agency for the spy here that you can take big advantage of research and prep. So that's actually why I banned it because I don't really do research and prep anymore. So I think I would be losing any kind of advantage I would be getting from that. So I think Nebula would have an advantage on that venue specifically, also because he just really likes that venue. So I took that out, and Nebula takes out Balcony, which is fair. It is kind of a coin flip game, or it can be. You can win games based on luck. You can lose games based on luck, and a lot of people don't like that. I guess my strategy here with the picks. So, like I said, you can pick earlier setups, but I think what you want to do in this situation is ban the setups that you don't want, or at least that's what I did. Um, and I banned out the Courtyard and Pub Snipe Arcade variants because I think those ones are a little restrictive for the spy, a little too reliant on two flirts, things like that. And these things are threatening in terms of losing sniper games. Um, and we're trying to bat 1,000 here, right? We're trying to win every single sniper game, and that's also something that's kind of interesting because I always tell people, and I think it's generally true, that if you are an underdog, you want to create as much chaos. You want to create as many like coin flip opportunities where you might be able to win a game. But I felt like I didn't need that because I have played Nebula a few times in the last 6 months, and I didn't feel like I need those kinds of like I have to hope for a win. Like I can keep up and I can just apply pressure simply by winning sniper games, and once I get a spy win, I just keep winning sniper, which is a lot of strategies that for high level snipers. That's kind of how Crazy Killy played in a way, I guess. Um, oh yeah, so Nebula bans Gugwoods by picking 4 of 8. Um, and so maybe he can talk about it because he's in the chat, but I think he probably didn't like the low guest count variant. Um, and it's probably good for him that he chose that because I definitely would have considered taking Gugwoods if it was available after those first two picks. Yeah, so Nebula wanted normal setups. That's fair. Um, just checking my notes here. Oh yeah, High Rise 3 of 8. High Rise 3 of 8 was introduced in this tournament, and I thought it was really cool. Um, I think 3 of 8 just opens up so much for the spy, and conversely, like it's more fun for the sniper too because the sniper has more things to do, and the spy isn't just kind of like sitting around waiting for a good bug or a good purloin chain, which often seems to happen on like those 3 of 6 setups where the sniper only has to guard one hardtail other than Bug and Purloin. So I did like the 3 of 8. I think 4 of 8. I liked 4 of 8 before this new thing was introduced. Um, but it might be a little crowded for high rise. So yeah, I like the 3 of 8 variant. I think it was a good thing to try, and we got some good games out of it. Um, okay, so I think we're ready to get into the games. Um, let me add the scoreboard here because I think the score is important context, um, especially later in the set for what's going on. It does affect decisions, in my opinion. So I get the draft out of the way. So Gug Room will be much better. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I actually didn't hate Gugwoods. It was kind of like Terrace to me, with like the Purloin setup. Um, but anyway, Nebula playing Small Man on Courtyard. So what am I thinking this set? I think so. I didn't do like a whole lot of prep, like I said, and I think Warning Track mentioned that in the cast as well. Oh yeah, shout out to the casters, by the way. I'm going to be talking about things they said during the cast, what they got wrong, what they got right. Spoilers, it was mostly right, because there's a reason why those guys are the best at what they do. It's really hard to tell like what people are thinking when they're playing this game sometimes, but I think they at least for what I was thinking, like my side. I can't speak for Nebula, but they were able to articulate really well like the things I was doing. Starting with the fact that I believe Slappy said that there won't be
Banana
very
bread.
many. There won't be a lot of pathing lights in this game, and that is 100% true. There was very little pathing going on for my sniper, to be totally honest with you. At least relative to what you're probably used to. Um, because I said I didn't research, but I have. I played Nebula and I researched him back in Summer Cup 2022, and I've played him a couple times since then. I've also watched a lot of his sets with other top level snipers and players in general, like Rov, like Miniorek, Opie and something I did notice, um, is that Nebula does. He likes to do prints. He likes to do time ads. A lot of time ads, and he plays slower. He doesn't go for like those like really like wild or like kind of cheesy plays very much in these kinds of matches. I found. So I think my priorities this set were Prince, Purloin, Time Ad in that order. Time Ad was above 6 of the missions. Um, Bug, like yes, I'm watching it. I'm watching it for here. Like not like this is like a crazy bug to catch. But I know that I could very well miss a bug at some point. And I'm not gonna think too hard about or be too sure that someone does or doesn't have bug. And if I have enough other information about them, then I will assume that they just got bugs somewhere. So this game, Small Man wasn't doing very much for the whole game, other than flirt and then goes for the bug. So this is kind of a theme that you'll see in these sets, that Nebula stays very low for most of the game. Very little mission progress and a lot of timeouts. Hey Nabber. No, this is SpyParty. Um, so my spy game, yes, he stays very low. So my spy game, this is kind of interesting. I also play this very slow, but um, yeah, I guess it's kind of a warm up game. I always kind of like just kind of suss it out on the first game, whether intentionally or not. I don't know. It's probably just kind of getting into the groove, not doing anything too crazy, looking for opportunities. But oh, I forgot to mention. So on this first flirt, something happened, which was basically when I right click to do the action test, my game just like freezes for a second, and I was like, oh god, because usually before like a competitive match, I restart my computer and like load up a couple of practice games just to make sure like everything's running smoothly. But this one, it was a live match, so we had to do a draft early, so I didn't really have time to get that done, or like I forgot to do it even earlier than usual. So of course, when we start playing, I get this problem, and I barely hit the test here, the white test here, because I basically have to guess like when the bar, like where the bar is, because I can't actually see it moving. Um, so I guess not too surprisingly, when I go for BB here, I guess incorrectly, and I red test and die, and I'm like, okay, this is not tenable. I have to restart. So that's what that little break in the towards the beginning was about. Just AFK. AFK test is white. Yeah, I know. Um, but I didn't want a white test either. So I think the casters were a little worried that like this was a show of nerves, but thankfully it was not that. It was just my computer acting up. So I reset and everything was okay after that. And I forgot to update the scoreboard. That's 1-1 snipers. Alright, see ya, Koopa, and good luck on your exam. So we're on to the second venue. This was Nebula's pick, 4 of 8. So another game where he's going to do very little for a majority of the game. And in terms of what I'm watching, yeah, I'm just like taking note about things, regular mission stuff. I think maybe the slowness towards the beginning could have to do with the earlier set we played in this tournament, where a couple of times I highlight him for like starting at books or you know something mission related, like an early print or something. So this definitely did work to keep him as a neutral light. But at the same time, when I start noticing this happening in the games, um, I feel less threatened when it comes to finishes. So I think that also helps with like nerves and stuff. Like I wasn't really that nervous, and I'll talk about that some more later. I used to get really nervous during competitive matches, but for this tournament in particular, I basically didn't feel any nerves, even late in the tournament. And when the spy games are like this, and you're not really like, you don't really have to worry about like rushes and stuff like that. It can help kind of just stabilize. So we don't have to spend too much time. And I am like periodically looking at the clock to watch for time ad, because like I said, it's pretty high on the list of priorities for things to watch. And I do notice the time ad, so I know it has happened. But I missed Alice at the window, but I'm not too concerned, right? Because a time ad this late into the game means the spy needs like at least two more missions, basically. So I'm just keeping track of people that could be finishing. Once the clock hangs, um, I know that there's going to be beeps, right? So at this point, I see Alice at the spy fireplace and doing another watch check when the clock is already low and on a green time ad. So I think that this could very well be a layered, like a second green time ad. And look at my laser here. It's dead still because there's basically only one thing I'm watching here, and I'm watching Alice for bug. Because if I see that standing bug and the beeps go off, I need to be ready to shoot. So there, like, I think, like, I can't really see the bug. Like, you can maybe make out the hand here, but either way, no beeps, so it doesn't matter. Like, I literally don't have to shoot until there's beeps. So I waited out. And then she goes to statue. I guess the idea would be to like create a double hanging clock situation with a green swap, and then do like some other unexpected finish that doesn't have to do with a hanging clock like a purloin or a swap, but it is a white swap, so I'm able to shoot for it. Oops. So on spy side, so we got that first warm-up game out of the way, and this time we don't get the bug. We're not in a good enough position for it, but I want to play like relatively fast, like not a rush necessarily. I say that as I pick pearls, but this might have been a random. Either way, I just want to get mission progress early and often, because I want to test the sniper. I don't want them to just sit back and just kind of watch the party like I was doing last game. So I do like a inspect. I start an inspect. I do like a fairly disrespectful flirt. Not close enough for bug here, but not a big deal. I break idle because white dress folds her hands in front of her body as part of her idle and not her neutral, but thankfully it's not noticed. And then I'm just, going for more mission opportunities, just doing stuff in general, which makes me suspicious in a way, but I was thinking about doing a contact, doing like a contact delegate to go even faster here, but Duke leaves, which isn't the worst thing because now I know that none of these three are the real DA, so I know this is a known fake conversation, but I do still want to delegate. So these conversations look pretty good. I know the real DA's out, but that's not important. I know that there's like a solid chance that the DA is either in here or in here, and in this case it's just Alice that has real BB. So I don't know what Nebula's thinking when he hears this
Banana
BB.
bread.
It's not like a great BB. Only one person is real. It knocks out a few people, a few highlights even. And then I send and I leave at the same time, and I try to keep my distance from the ambassador, just show off that I'm not bugging. But not so much that that's obvious I'm doing that. I joined small man. Unfortunately, I'm not hitting many two flirts this game, which burns me later. But the purloin comes off. Oh yeah, another thing about this game. So after I send Kane, green dress also goes to bar. And this is kind of important because I think this significantly delays when Nebula actually notices that the list is gone, because green dress goes all the way on this side of the pad and requests a drink after the purloin happens, which means Toby's pocket is kind of behind these drinks. So like from this angle, you can't actually tell that there's been a purloin. and then Duke like brings him out. But I think maybe because it's a double agent, Nebula isn't like super focused on this yet either. So eventually I get Lolit. At the time I wasn't really sure why, but after reviewing the game, I realized that these are basically Purloin Lowlights. Because a bunch of them come off at the same time, and the only people left are bar visitors, essentially, like Kane and Green Dress. And I think Nebula told me that he missed White Dress at the bar. So I guess whatever, this timing where the ambo is kind of moving around and going to the bookcase, I managed to get out of there despite taking the drink, because I did think about kind of cheesing it and leaving without a drink, but I ended up opting for the more natural movement. It is possible if you watch the arrow over Toby. Right, yeah. But I think like he wasn't watching that when Green Dress was taking. So it just didn't even occur to him to see that. Oh yeah, and this so here Small Man leaves the convo, but I need to flirt with him. Of course he leaves like right before the flirt timer's up. And White Dress is really slow, so I can't really go around this way. So I'm just kind of hoping that there's enough room here. There isn't, so I end up doing this stupid nonsensical path, and then like barely get the flirt off. And Nebula actually said he saw this path. He saw this path, but he didn't think I was at bar, which is the main indication that there's been spy action. And I do an innocent watch check because it's low on time, and a spy would want more time here if they were not close to finishing. And then yeah, like Graj said, the ending here. So I'm like, okay, I hate action priorities. I don't like the menu scrolling minigame, but it gets even worse with the book, right? Because then you're like, if I accidentally microfilm because I was trying to like scroll over to this statue, like that's a disaster. So I just do the left inspect and like hope Amber. I guess I don't hope Amber leaves. I just like I accept that I can't inspect that right now, and I have enough time. I have like 25 seconds. Amber is gonna stay there for 2 cycles at most. I think he was at least nice enough to only do one cycle. And at this point, I'm just praying, like, please don't choose red books or the same statue pad. And I am just that lucky enough. So I get the other inspect, and I hit the green too. I'm probably not getting shot in overtime, but in some situations that green test is important. Yeah, when keybinds for missions, I've been sorry, I need another cough drop. I've been asking for it basically ever since I started playing. I was like, is there any way to like bind the mission to keys, or do we have to press one button to do like 10 different things? Inspecting the correct statue. I actually would have, like, if I scrolled fast enough, like I think like a green test at least would have gotten this. So I think if there was an inspect right statue button, I would have pressed it here. But I didn't want to risk the like any microfilm shenanigans. So that's what I won. Which one is left? Oh, sorry. So I would have inspected the eagle first, if I knew I could do it without like flubbing the action test. And another thing, I guess, useful tip is that if you right click while you're taking the book out, it'll always inspect because you don't have the option to microfilm until the book is open in your hands. Yeah. I think it starts left and then held and then right, or is it left, right, and then held? I don't know. It I don't like the system. We shouldn't even have to worry about that sort of thing. I guess I'll mention the bug that happened. This is like one that basically came to me, just totally opportunistic. I'm talking, I bug, and I just keep talking afterwards. Yeah, I didn't really have any like set pieces or like game plans going into the game or going into the match. I just kind of played how I normally do, like in like a casual set, I guess. Nothing special, just playing normally and just keeping it down on my holding it down on sniper. Somehow managed to never get the order of contact purloin bug and flirt. Yeah, that can get really bad. You know, trying to do like a walking bug and crashing. Oh my god, it's the worst. It's the worst. So yeah, I got away with purloin essentially, and that's how I won that game. And I think getting an early win is pretty big because like I was talking about, once you have that win, once you have that venue lead, you don't really need to do anything on Spy to apply more pressure. All you have to do is keep winning sniper games, and then the clock, or like the remaining games, is the pressure, because then the other player has to win a Spy game to catch up. And every time you win a sniper game, they're running lower on opportunities. So now we're on 4 of 7 pub, because I banned out 3 of 7. This venue, Nebula has done some AI control on this venue against me before, so I am accounting for that fact. If I do low light people like Alistair, I try to do it stealthily, and they're not completely out, right? If they start doing missions again, I will bring them back up. So here Nebula is going for the early fingerprint, one of the 3 priorities. So this path, for the first time we're talking about pathing. I told you there wouldn't be a whole lot, but it's still in there. I'm still doing some of it. So normally when AI walk through this doorway, the doorway, it's a little jagged. Well, the whole game is kind of jagged because it's like a grid. It's like a checkerboard. And there's only 8 directions of movement. So there's no such thing as like a smooth diagonal line. It's just a bunch of squares that are like, it's like a staircase. So what's going on in the chat? Let me ban this guy real quick. Let's see. Guggies. All right. So like I was saying, yeah, diagonal surfaces are more like staircases. So if an AI is going like around, like hugging this door, they're going to do like this little wobbly thing here, which is not that hard to replicate a Spy, because of the Spy pathing algorithm. Like it kind of puts your inputs through the AI algorithm. I did a video about that. It's in clips. But in this case, it's not a standard path into the bar. It's a briefcase path. So she's not going somewhere that an AI normally would be going, which is in the middle of the hallway here. So I don't put too much on the fact that she's not doing like this little wiggly thing here. But she has a print, and it's Nebula, and it's boots. So I watched this path going forward, and this actually feels a little close to Salmon. I think AI would. So I think this spacing with General is like, this is good, but Salmon is standing further back, so she should come out a little bit. Her hand is like kind of close like kind of clipping into salmon here a little bit. And maybe because of confirmation bias, but it almost looks like from my perspective that she kind of like gets caught on the bar for a second, like when she turns, which doesn't actually happen. He lets go of W correctly, but you know I am pretty sus of boots, but you know, even if I am pretty sure on like a pathing thing, I'm not gonna get too caught up on it, especially against Nebula. I'm just gonna be watching the rest of the party. She's not doing anything threatening right now other than picking up a delegate. Oh, here, this is another pathing thing. Um, once I have a suspect, I will be watching pathing much more closely. Just not when there's like a whole party of suspects that may or may not be AI controlled. So here, this is an interesting thing. The bar, this counter over here with the stools. I don't know if this is the only place that there are objects that cover the pad. Maybe the plant on high rise, that might be another one. But the thing about these is that if you stand on the very inside of the pad, you can't walk straight down to the other side because these stools will push you out. And the reason that's significant is because AI, if they're trying to go here, like deep, like in this little crevice between these two chairs, they're not gonna start here and then go around this chair. They're gonna line up with this and only turn once they get past this, and then they can kind of go line up with their destination. And what happens here? Let's just pretend that Alice isn't here, because if we account for that, then the AI would like do a ghost path and go out and around here. I can't even see Alice here, so I'm not even thinking about that. But if there were no Alice here, the AI, if they're going here, would go like that and then line up with their destination and go straight. But what happens with Boots here is that she overshoots the horizontal and ends up having to come back a little because this stool is in the way. And I see this like slight outwards turn at the end. I'm like, that doesn't look right. Like, why did she come closer to the bar? So at this point, I see everything in the party. I see her, I see him, and my eyes are up here. Or actually, they're not. My eyes aren't up here, but I look at the clock and I say 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 9, 8. Oh, shot. So I'm just doing that. So that's why that shot is so fast, because I'm literally just guarding timeout essentially. And making sure I catch a green if there is one. So yeah, that was one of the few instances where pathing did come into play. My spy game, kind of sad. Another instance of not hitting greens when you gotta. I do think about like cheesing it. Excuse me. I do think about cheesing it, but you know, like the caster said, I kind of change my mind. I just take a innocent drink, or you know, innocent delegate. You know, not cheese is what I'm trying to say. But I do want this option. You know, I do want this option of like doing an early delegate, just to put pressure on the sniper, just to make him think. So I waited a little bit. I know there's a lot of people at bar, which can be a good thing actually. Like 5 people can be better than like 3 people, because the early people will start leaving while you're waiting. So I send this hoping that maybe some of them will leave, and it'll go off. Um, and then I go in to get an inspect while that's happening. But I think at this point, I kind of realize, or like once Toby starts walking, once Toby starts walking to Seek, I realize that there's no chance that this purloin goes off. If Seek was standing over here, it might, but the fact that he has to like turn around and walk back and forth, yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. So I pivot, I go for the swap play, and then I go to the window here, ugly path, but whatever. And I do the old the walkover, the delay. Um, I don't know if it'll work, but I'm just making him work a little harder. Remember who was there last, even if it was like a minute ago. So I turn small man away. I do an illegal reject. Don't really care. I don't think the sniper's watching. And I already have half a flirt, right? So I do the contact. Um, the swap summon has already happened, but if all goes right, I just finish here. All does not go right. I do not finish. And Slappy was saying that I should leave here and come back to flirt, and I think he's 100% right. Um, when I miss this flirt, I can't. Even if Taft stays, I can't give the sniper 45 seconds to think about this. And it's possible that even just leaving and coming back and talking will also get me shot, and because it's still a lot worse than just finishing on a two flirt. But I think you have to leave. Like I didn't want to move around that much because more opportunities for weird pathing stuff, right? But I think moving, and then coming back, even like getting redirected off of like a briefcase or something, like that would have been fine too. That would have been the play. So I think me sticking around is a misplay. Even if Taft stays, I could have done better this game. Um, I could have adapted to that missed green flirt a little better, and maybe had a chance. This was not a intentional redirect, by the way. Um, yeah, this might be like a holding W sort of thing. Yeah, I was just holding W here, but honestly, it kind of looks good. It kind of looks good because twins like walking over there. But yeah, doesn't matter. I think I was already the top suspect, and if I the mere fact that I'm joining Taft is enough to shoot for. So that made it 2-4. Another sniper split. And yeah, winning that game, like hitting that green test, I talked about it in the post game interview, because that would have been huge. Because one spy win, being one game ahead is like, it's not a real lead, because that just means like you're one game away from being tied. And but if you have two, that puts on a lot more pressure. So yeah, it sucked that I didn't get that win, but like I said before, as long as you have any lead, all you have to do is keep winning sniper games to apply pressure. So I just keep playing until I can get that second spy win. So we're on Teien now. This was Nebula's second pick after normal Redwoods. I guess this venue, like it's easier to just stand still and do missions, so you're less likely to be caught for like pathing stuff. Not sure what he's shaking about here. I don't think I could even tell that this convo spacing was happening here. Like from this perspective, it kind of looks normal. Like it kind of just looks like Kanan's standing closer to the camera. But yeah, like I said, mainly just watching Prince, Purloin, and Time Ad. I'm tracking Purloin very closely, keeping track of Amba. I actually usually low light Amba, or neutral light or whatever, or I just kind of switch them during the game. But one of the things I
Banana
did
bread.
this set in particular was that I kept him high lit the whole time. Um, so this banana bread is kind of interesting. I highlight the people in the back convo because I literally didn't notice Small Man here. Like the yellow arrow is kind of overlapping with the yellow drinks on Toby's tray. So I just highlight the people in the back. I do eventually notice that he's here, but I don't bother like highlighting the front people. Because if you think about it, Small Man on Teien, like who's gonna set this guy as the DA on Teien? So I keep these guys in higher suspicion, and I should also mention here that I am specifically guarding the a walking bug by Kane here, and I'm watching his head, and I'm pretty sure I see the idle reset. Like you see his shoulder back here, like he's in his idle, and he's like kind of leaning forward, and then when this happens, it does like this smooth transition back to neutral, and his head too. So yeah, I'm like semi confident that I see a bug here, and he's probably the top suspect at this point. But again, he's not really doing much, so I'm just watching everyone else and being ready for when Kane makes a move. I think he leaves the conversation, and like for instance, if he leaves here and he like lands on center statues or something like that, he's dead. I am watching his pathing. It's not like anything too incriminating, but it's also not gonna get him low lit. And he goes back, another okay path. And he goes to window, and I'm guarding time ad. And he comes back, and something kind of interesting happens here actually. So I'm like tunneling Kane, right, and he gets offered, and he rejects. So I'm like, okay, except he's not being offered, and he doesn't reject. Disney's the one being offered, and I actually don't even see Disney like taking a drink here. I just thought like Kane is doing a reject. Like, I don't see Disney turning around. I guess because I'm too focused on what's happening here. So I thought Kane did a reject here, and I'm waiting for the purloin. Okay, another reject happens. Where's it gonna go next? Oh, it's coming back to Kane. It definitely hasn't been 30 seconds. He's gonna take his own purloin. But no, he hadn't purloined yet because he hadn't been offered yet. So here comes a quick reject. I'm like, okay, so that's the purloin. I guess the first time he just didn't feel like purloining, like he wasn't ready or he wanted to do something else, but then he changed his mind and requested. Either way, you can't get offered twice in 30 seconds, so clearly an etiquette break. Clueless. Um, and like I said, I already credited him with bug, but in case it like missed or something because Amba didn't come close enough or something like that, which is possible, right? They're not like it's possible that bug doesn't take. So yeah, like Slappy said, I do account for the fact that this could be a bug, and I'm never gonna like I'm never gonna wait on Teien, especially because I almost got danced on by Mini in Teien in the semifinals. So I'm not really messing around. I just assume that there's a purloin pending, and I take the shot. Update the score. My Teien spy game, not one of my better ones in this set for sure. Um, All statues shoji setup. I still think shoji setup should like be mirrored in the
Banana
set. Like
bread.
both people should have the same one. I take a super early BB here because only teal is out. Um, and I'm just kind of like hoping, I guess, that she's not the SDA. I don't really care that one person is out, even if it's early. I don't know. I'm not really sure why King gets low-lit here. What? Because he took a drink and he BB'd?
Banana bread.
I guess. Oh, maybe it's because he started talking right after the BB. That's something spies don't really do. I I will say like it is like a it is pretty AI like to do that because spies don't want to be seen talking like right after a BP, right? The TO desired the players could manually pick a shoji setup. Yeah, that's true. It's a little known fact that you can you can manually set the shojis, and you can also manually set which shark spawn you get on aquarium. Talking after green BB is something. Yeah, yeah. I remember. I think it was Astatine effect. In Hex Cup 3, I was playing him. He was small man on Moderne, and he did that. He did that at the end of a game on a mission win countdown BB, and it made me hesitate for a second. Like, but when you think about it, like if you knew he was the top sus, um, it's actually positive value to do that because if you think you're being tunneled, then the sniper is going to see that you weren't talking when the BB happened, and then you started talking. Yeah, exactly. On balcony, where on somewhere like balcony, where the spy knows the sniper can see it, and also, BB into flirt. That's also a thing. So here I kind of brain fart. Like I take a drink and I'm like, okay, let's make some stuff happen. I usually have Taft as the amb on this venue. I don't know why Tex was the amb of this time, but I think I think I forgot he was the amba. So I go for the briefcase and I'm like, oh shit. Uh, that's pretty close there, buddy. That's the ambassador. Um, but I pick it up anyway. Because like what, me of all people is gonna get this etiquette wrong? No, of course not. No, Nebula's not gonna buy that. I get highlight for, print and possibly the fact that pretty illegal looking briefcase. I don't get a whole lot of like good bug opportunities. Even if I didn't have a drink here, I think like a wrong arm would be pretty easy to credit. I guess ideally like a wrong arm or like a reverse drive by this way might work. It would work better if this was a little more full. But yeah, I'm not. I'm just kind of like thinking about what to do. Nothing really presents itself, so I go for my second green swap of the game after inspects. And this shot was kind of interesting. Because I did have a print, and this statue didn't have a print, not even a difficult one. So unless he thought I had bugs somewhere, this shot is interesting. Which is like kind of ironic for me to say because I take early shots all the time, but and yet whenever like a top sniper takes an early shot, quote unquote early shot, because I'm just like expecting them to be good mission counters, unlike me. It always makes me think a little bit, and it could be that he was just pretty sure, just from like this briefcase behavior. But mental note of early shots. Maybe I was saying he thought I 3-cycled. Well, I didn't do that. But that is interesting. I think that sort of thing can happen if you're already suspecting someone. Kind of phantoming bad etiquette. Kind of like what happened with me on pub, where I thought Boots like stubbed her toe on the bar when she really didn't. So on to Moderne. I'm not really expecting him to AI control here. I think it's not like that high of a value play. Like you're kind of just banking on luck. Um, it's also hard to tell if you've been low lit. So I'm just kind of like getting big picture stuff here. I am still highlighting book early book visitors because microfilm is a pretty. This is one of the few venues where microfilm is like one of the more viable hardtails, I would say. Um, Partially because there's 3 shelves, and they're also quite close together, so you can do some cheese stuff, which you'll see in my spy game. Giving the bar visitors some fake highlights. I don't really care about them. I don't think Nebula's going for a purloin like 1 minute into the game, so at least based on how he's been playing this set and the previous time I played him. So I'm just taking some behavioral stuff, some pathing stuff, and I think this is where I find the spy. So this is the proverbial flirt leave. The flirt leave is a very popular move among high level spies, and if you are an aspiring behavioral sniper, look for this in your level 7 dailies because it happens a lot. Um, First of all, oh, sorry, Windows thing. Um, Leaving conversations is pretty inconvenient if you're trying to follow etiquette because you have to like wait 6 or 7 seconds just to get in a state where you're allowed to leave. But when you're talking, the conditions are different. Like the only legal condition for leaving when you're not talking is if you're in your neutral or you get red flirted or delegated or something along those lines. But if you're talking, the conditions are much more forgiving, right? Because as long as someone interrupted you, you're allowed to leave, and snipers usually aren't checking if someone like just somebody talking is like enough excuse to leave a conversation, save some time, um, without like getting extra suspicion. But are most of your decisions based off the player themselves or general spy play? Um, a mix of both. A mix of both. Like it depends how well I know the spy, I guess. Like if I'm playing against OP Rights, if I'm playing against Nebula, I know their spies pretty well, so I can kind of like adjust the knobs in terms of like what's more important to watch for. Like I'm probably not guarding I'm probably not guarding window etiquette against Nebula, but I'm gonna guard it against OP because I'm gonna catch him at some point doing like a 4 second window stay. Um, and against Nebula, I'm gonna watch time ads more closely than some other spies. Um, but in terms of overall behavior, it doesn't. I'm watching for mostly like the same things like general spy behavior stuff. Things that everyone who is trying to win a spy game will do. So yeah, back to the flirt leave thing. So I'm just watching the whole party basically, and Irish, yeah, green dress, whatever her name is. Uh, it's kind of like an obvious one because she's like waving her hands around, and I see her do this leave, a leave I've seen many a time before in high level spy games. So, oh, actually, another thing. Even before that, like I actually initially I thought it was something else. I thought White Dress might have just delegated because I saw this leave, and they left at the same time, more or less coincidentally. So I highlight both of them, but Green Dress clearly isn't going to bar. So then I decide that she might have just done she might have just been a spy doing a flirt leave. So I keep her on camera because there isn't a whole lot else happening uh, in terms of things that require my full attention. And then the microfilm happens. Something interesting about this is depending on when, like, where in the bar the little green tick is, green microfilm can look significantly worse because as soon as you right click the first time, it actually like kind of starts the white animation where you're starting to like reach down into your pocket. And if the green test is late enough, you will start doing the white and then kind of like jerk transition into the green one. So even if it was a normal green, I probably would have caught it because I'm staring. But yeah, this looks really bad. For a green test, this looks awful. Yeah, this happens when the green test is really late on the bar. Forgot to update the score again. Sorry, guys. If you start the read animation of flipping the page, no, I mean like, you know what? Let's jump out of here really quick. Uh, Actually, I don't want to go somewhere with like a lot of guests. This is good because we can actually see from the front. Let's use screen dress since we were just looking at her. I feel like if you highlight interrupted guests, you'll end up with too many highlights. No. Um, well, if you say my games in general have too many highlights, you'd probably be right. Um, but I also know that Nebula plays a lot of green dress, so that might have played into it a little bit. So let's see, microfilm. So yeah, if it's there, like it's normal, right? Hopefully I don't have to spend too much time doing this. Okay, at least I'm hitting my greens. What? Oh, right. Actually, why am I doing this on the statue? It's like so bad. I don't even have to. Come on. Okay, I mean that was like relatively late. Well, actually, I don't even have to hit the green test. Just watch like when the arm starts, while the bar is moving. You see that? Like, she starts moving her hand down like before the thing has moved to the end of the bar. So if you hit a green after she starts doing that, it basically just interrupts it. No, this is not the set. Sorry. Let's see. I think AI don't actually do it that much. The interrupt leave thing. Yeah, AI don't do interrupt leave that much. It's one of those things that it's one of those things like behavioral things where yes, AI can do it, um, but it's a rare occurrence that benefits the spy, and I think anything that's rare plus benefits the spy, like it's in the spy's interest to do so, is behaviorally sus. Um, I'm trying to think of like other examples, like not taking a drink at bar would be another one. That's like a classic example. Um, like the OP window thing, like the 4 second window stay. Yeah, it's legal, but it sure helps you more than it helps the AI. So my spy game on Moderne, uh, I start out with a book. I basically want to do like I kind of want to do like an early-ish transfer, direct transfer. I don't choose it because I know that's probably being watched for, but I just want to like do it when the sniper's preferably distracted. I don't want to hold it the whole game necessarily because then like when the action starts dying down, the sniper can kind of take inventory of who has what, and then he sees the book in my hand, and they can be like, okay, where did that come from? Oh, right, red. Let me make sure she returns it to red. So what happens here? Yeah, the 4 second window stay. Yeah, like Opie gets really mad when like he gets highlight for legal things, for like things that are like barely within like etiquette legality. And he's like, why would you highlight me for that? AI can totally do that. It's like that's not illegal. Like I shouldn't be shot for that. It's like yeah, but you do it every time. Like every time I shoot you, it's you. It's never an AI. But anyway, so here I mean maybe I was seen anyway, but I thought this was kind of cool where two bar visitors, was Tex a bar visitor? No, Tex wasn't a bar visitor, but Kane was. So I'm basically like using them as cover to just like kind of switch over here, and it honestly looks kind of good. If I'm not being watched, this looks pretty good. I shouldn't have slammed the book though. That was a mistake, I think. Like I should have just played it cool. Like maybe do like one cycle, and I definitely shouldn't like do like a instant leave afterwards. Like because now there's no cover. Like now I'm out in the open. Um, I guess I was kind of hoping like the sniper would be watching general, who is returning a briefcase, but yeah, very visible. Contact is enough to take that shot. That makes it 4-6. Burning through the cough drops. So not a big deal that we don't get a spy win here. Uh, we know it's not going to be easy. Although when I played mini, I think it was like a spy sweep to start the set, so that was interesting. So now we're on gallery. This was Nebula's pick, and not surprising because I think it's his favorite venue, or at least he plays it a lot. But yeah, I think like Slappy and Track were saying here, like you spawn out here and you instinctively um, go for it because you see there's a decent amount of action here. Amba's under threat. Toby's offering someone, but then you go on the sniper side and you realize there is nobody out here, not even in the front convo. It's just one person. So after I guard book cheese and memorize statues, I look at the clock to make sure there hasn't been like a white time ad, and I count down, and I notice that there has been a green, and I'm like pretty sure that no one was out there. But I'm not counting out the fact that someone might have done an even earlier time ad and walked inside. Yeah, Mini had an interesting tournament for sure. Like I know his sniper win rate isn't always like on Rav or like Nebula level in terms of like win rate, because he gets a lot of spy wins. He gets a lot of spy wins. But yeah, this tournament, I don't know. Maybe he's just saving his energy for SMC to win it a third time. That banana bread set was pretty awesome. For like 10 spy wins. So yeah, I'm just kind of like watching the rest of the party and shifting my attention to Twin if he ever tries to do something. And I think he eventually goes for the principal statue, and that's basically enough for me. Like I was watching his paths, and they weren't bad, but nothing about them said they weren't the spy. So that makes it 7-4. Why no LL for fast stop? What is a fast stop? Was that something an AI did, or the spy? Um, on gallery, watching the fronts. Oh, like people doing convo stops here. Yeah, I go. Enter idle faster than humanly possible. Oh, what do you mean? Like on a convo stop, or like when they actually enter the conversation? Maybe I'm learning something new. Let's see. Where was there a convo stop? Ah, this. Okay. Now she does like a little stutter here. You're saying she enters her neutral faster than spies can? Oh. Oh, you mean like just like turn at the end? Let's see if some like wheels. So you're saying like wheels doing this? Like going from moving to stopping, his hands resetting. You're saying it looks different when spies do this? I mean that seems like something that should be fixed. Hmm. You know what? I'm kind of curious about this, so let's take a quick second. I don't want this to go on forever, but my frame rate is a little lower than it normally would be if I wasn't streaming. So it's not ideal. Hmm. Okay, I mean maybe it's confirmation bias, but I think I kind of see what you mean. Like it's more gradual. It's like a transition. Whereas hands, it's like half a second. Whereas hands go from open to closed. Oh yeah, you're right. That is definitely not half a second. Wow. That is pretty fast. That's pretty fast. Well, we know now. We can never put it back in Pandora's box. This tech will be used by 2026 SMC champion Firelord Ethan. Maybe sooner than that. Delete the VOD. No one outside of this room can know that this happened. It needs to be a secret. Yeah, this is the sort of thing that Checker needs to fix, and like pretty high priority, I would say. Does that mean he will? Yes, he will fix it on the on his test client on his computer. Will we ever see those changes? I don't know. Anyway, speaking of wheels, let's watch more wheels. So yeah, I actually spawn like pretty much in the same place Nebula does in the previous game, but I don't fall for the time ad trap. I think he's definitely watching for time ads because I say Nebula time ads a lot. I time ad a lot too. I didn't do it a whole lot this set because I feel like I use time ads to kind of like manufacture spy wins, and I think Nebula to some extent was doing that in some of his games too. But I felt like I didn't have to do that because I was pretty confident about my sniper games. I was definitely less confident against like someone like Miniarek because I'm much less familiar with their tendencies. So I did go for some like weird stuff against him. This bug is really good, yeah. The fact that I'm wheels actually kind of helps me. Because if I'm a taller guest, like even if my arm is like just as obscured, like the fact that my whole body and like my head is obscured, I think helps. And I actually don't know that this bug even looks good because all I see is this, and like, oh well, there's a laser. He might be able to see that there. What I don't realize is that Red Dress is providing some excellent cover here. So yeah, yes, the hand is visible, but very briefly, and it's kind of hard to tell that Wheels is even here. Yeah, I lost to a Wheels bug on Moderne against Mini. It's a reverse drive-by. But yeah, once this bug takes, I basically have to play like it's clean, right? I can't play like it wasn't clean because then I'm dead either way. So who cares? So I think Garage pointed this out in the chat, in the VOD, that I should just do inspects and play like a normal game, and that's exactly what I do. I just do inspects. I go back to flirt with small man. I forgot to be checking my notes during this. I hope I didn't forget anything. Oh, there is something I forgot. I'll go back to it. Just acting casual, just doing statues. Oh, and this is an interesting moment because I did think like, ooh, silent game, but I quickly decided against it, and I think Slappy was right about this as well during the cast. Um, I do love to do silent games, especially on gallery where the DA is an unreliable piece of shit. But in this instance, I'm going to a statue that Disney, who also already had an early print. So Disney already has an early print, and he just went to the statue, and he's highlit. Yeah, he actually tried to go for a second, or that's a dead case. But he does like a briefcase redirect or something. I guess it's a book redirect. I don't know. But the point is, Disney's a threat, and the statue that he just walked off of, and some other AI is going to, is a huge threat. So, I think Nebula should be staring down this statue because him catching the fade on this swap could come down to deciding this game. So I'm definitely not going to swap here, uh, even if I was playing like a taller character and not someone that's horrible at blocking swaps. And actually, the two I hit the green on the inspect, so I could have put it down here, but I deliberately do a second cycle because I want Nebula to be staring at this. I want to create even more tension, that this swap could happen at any moment, and then I leave without swapping. So the sniper says, "Okay, that's done with. I can go back to doing my normal thing on sniper, and hopefully just not suspecting me of having a fourth mission at all." I do a normal BB, and yes, it would be nice if the top suspect was, or at least ostensibly the top suspect was in for this contact, but if I wait for that to happen, I'm probably going to throw the game by general leaving, so I just take a normal BB. I also take a drink here, just so he has to watch this, if I am a suspect at all, just so he's watching this for a potential fourth mission completion, but no purloin forthcoming, and no chance to shoot. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, there was something funny that happened on the that I noticed on the Moderne game. So really quick sidetrack. Last round. Wait, not this one. So this, I loved this shot, against Mini on Moderne. I basically shot him for flirting because, people are really respectful when they join someone to flirt. Like he joins and then, 5 or 6 seconds, pretty normal. And he comes back and maybe even longer this time. Yeah, he waits like 7 seconds. But when the ST leaves and gets redirected and comes back, he's like, "Oh yes, he's back." Like nod. Spies generally aren't respectful about this at all because snipers don't expect like snipers are expecting spies to chase STs and not the other way around. So I already had her paired with Kane when she joined this convo and started talking. And then she talked again. And then Kane leaves and comes back and she instantly starts talking. And I'm like, I wasn't like super, like, I didn't like catch a hard toe or like a hard pathing toe or anything like that. But this is the sort of thing that people don't get punished for, so they'll just do it every time. So it feels that much better. Like it just feels really cool to punish someone for something like that, I guess. And why that's relevant, and I thought it was funny when I was watching this game later. Yeah, AI training shot. Do you shoot for mental damage? Um, Kinda. I guess there is a mental aspect in this set actually. With some of the instant shots. Actually, this game has one too. But the flirting point, what I thought was funny when I was watching the replay for this game is that here, like his ST joins, like way on the opposite side of conversation, and he still waits. He waits like 8 seconds to start talking, and I was just wondering if like if that mini rec game was on his mind when this happened, because this, this isn't even like right next to him, but he still waits 8 seconds to start flirting. In terms of mental damage, not really in terms of like intentionally taking shots early for mental damage or anything like that. But for something like this, for example, um, like he hasn't done anything this game other than flirt and that leave basically. So the fact that he does like a green microfilm and gets shot instantly. Same with the pub shot where he does a time at window and he gets shot like in less than a second. I do want the spy to feel like they can't do anything when shots like that happen. Like do something and you get shot. Again, against certain spies at least. And I think this set Nebula was being like more timid, I guess, compared to some of his other sets against other opponents. He likes to. He definitely does more like bold plays. Um, but I think these kind of shots can potentially exacerbate the slowness of the spy and less willingness to do stuff. Didn't purloin for 5-8. If I catch that, I would just shoot when they're about to win. Oh, the flirt thing? Yeah, the problem is I don't know. I often don't know when spies are about to win, and if I wait for them to win, they win. uh, so yeah, I'm not good enough at mission counting to know when they're winning. So if I'm not 100% sure, uh, I like generally I would say if I'm more sure that they're the spy than they are that they're not finished with missions, I would shoot. And in that case, obviously, Rocker is not finished, so I will say that shot was early. So now we're on Terrace. So this game, um, it's funny because after after the match, the post match interview, we were talking about like the library timeout that happened, and Slappy was like, what about the first timeout? Like, what did you think about that?" And I was like, "What is he talking about? Like, was there another timeout?" He said, "The one on Terrace." And I was like, "Oh right," because this game was like kind of wiped from my memory because I literally had no clue like who the spy was until basically the game told me at the end. Because text text just wasn't doing anything until he went for that purloin at the end. I think if anything, like my top suspect this game was Seek. Because like what does he do? He doesn't get a print, does he? I don't. Oh, maybe he does. No, Amber doesn't get a drink. So like general picks up the print. I don't think general is a spy here, by the way. I don't like this is like too obvious. Like you go to a statue and then the amber comes in and then you go right back to the same statue. I don't buy it. But Seek he's getting a difficult print and maybe he's doing like a flirt here. And then he's potentially framing general for a swap here by going right next to the thing. So if you look at my camera, I'm like, oh, this could be a swap. So yeah, I make sure I have this on screen while I'm watching for any delegates going on. No swap. And I don't think Seek really does a whole lot after that, so I'm basically just watching for delegate. Alright, I guess he does go back to bar. Yeah, nothing too much going on here. Oh yeah, and it's already like 20 seconds, so he does the BB, which knocks out the bar goer. And yeah, I'm watching for bug here, like any potential finish. Maybe even watching for swap from the low light. Actually, she was probably out for BB, so no. It was like, no idle reset. And then I'm like, oh, the list is gone. If it goes into overtime, if he's like done with flirt, I'd probably shoot text. So that makes it 9-4. My spy game is not much better than that, frankly. Teal has a really long talk, if you don't know, so I wasn't expecting my ST to join. I could have just double talked here, which I probably should have. I wasn't expecting Salmon to, like, my talk to be so long that Salmon would just like leave before I could even start talking again. So at this point, I'm like, well, because if I get a green flirt here, I can maybe go for like a 50-50 purloin play. I gotta win like that against OP in groups, where you just hit a 2 flirt and then purloin, and you just don't give the sniper time to think about who's more likely. So time's winding down. Nothing really happens other than like one flirt. I don't. Yeah, this bug doesn't work. It honestly, like, if it could work, like, it'd be pretty sick. But he definitely doesn't stay close to me long enough on my left side. If I manage to like turn, maybe. But yeah, this angle doesn't work. I was also kind of hoping that I could like do 2 prints here. But Amba, of course, takes the 10% chance to not take a drink. Cool. So that's out of the picture. And in hindsight, I probably should have taken a delegate from Green Dress here. I think I wasn't sure if she was still on the timer, but obviously she is. I just wasn't tracking it closely enough. So if I could redo this game, I probably purloin for her. Did she had contact, right? Yeah, she had contact. She's not talking very much though, is she? No, she doesn't talk at all. That's not good. But yeah, I take this list. And this is another point where Slappy nailed the analysis. So here, like, initially I'm thinking like, okay, maybe I delegate to someone and, hope for the best. And it's probably going to hang, so it wouldn't work anyway. But then I see Ambassador here, and I need to flirt anyway. So I'm like, okay, if I position myself like just past his center of gravity, if I go just past him so that my center is further left than his center, then I can bug with my right hand. So I get in this like very specific position because I think I'm dead. I think I'm dead just for like talking to delegate. I think Slappy mentioned that like maybe if I delegate first and like create some visual noise, then maybe this bug has a better chance of taking. But I'm kind of thinking the mere act of delegating would get me shot in this situation. So I'm just kind of hoping that Nebula is guarding the Purloin so much that maybe this possibility of a back-to-back bug with a drink in hand kind of falls off his radar, but it doesn't. He manages to catch it. That's a good shot. Opinions on set length. Up to 12. This is up to 12. Yeah. If you asked me a couple of years ago, I used to have like really bad nerve problems. So I hated like even like first to nines because I just like it was misery. Just being in that state for so long. But now it's like it doesn't really affect me anymore. So longer sets don't bother me as much. Having said that, it's not like I prefer them necessarily. I think first to 12 is like fine for finals. I think first to 11 would have been fine too. It's funny because I actually thought it was first to 11, and I blame Jace Carney. Not really, but only kind of. Like we were spectating like some Penguin Pool match like the day before, and he predicted a final score of 11-9, and I didn't really think about it because group stage is first to 7 and bracket is first to 9, so it's logical that finals is first to 11. But no, it's first to 12, as a matter of fact. So I thought it was okay. I mean, we didn't go like the full distance or anything. There were like what 3 venues left, so maybe it only felt fine because we only played 18 games. But 24. I think first to 14 is probably like too long. First to 14 is a lot. I think having two bans, I think having a ban per player is good. I don't think doubles are really necessary. I mean, it's either that or 4 bans and 1 double, I guess, if you're going to do 12. But yeah. So after that, it's 9 to 5. And here we are. The big library game. This is an adventure that I was mostly oblivious to. I don't really think Nebula's gonna do AI control here. Um, I am watching very closely for time ads because I know he's gonna do at least one. The problem is I lowlit him before before he did any of them, so I ended up being kind of confused. He is doing like an early mission for once though, so that's new and different. Perhaps because it is a. Oh, you know what? I think the reason he does this, I think he wants to get highlights so he can like do like these pillar paths and fish for lowlights or something. Well, he doesn't really do it there, but I know like he learned the movement from for those pillars by watching my lowlights from some old tournament. So it wouldn't surprise me if the picking up this highlight is intentional after avoiding it for so many games in a row. Yeah, it's just chilling behind the pillar. I'm not really sure, like... Yeah, Nebula doing shit. Sorry. I'm trying not to cough into the mic. But yeah, he doesn't really do much shit after this until like 1 minute left, maybe. I forget at what point I was kind of suspect. Was Alice? Did Alice have full inspects? Where is she? So she inspects there. Oh yeah, I think like Alice. I thought she might have like a difficult fingerprint. She actually didn't. It got fully smudged before she picked it up. But yeah, she does come pick up a book from a recently Amba visited bookcase, and you know she does like the leave thing here. I don't know if I caught that or not, but I think like behaviorally she was kind of sus. And then she goes here. Then she goes here. And something I've seen Nebula do before is like stand here and like when the sniper's swung over, he goes here and like does like the timeout or two, and then just goes back. Um, so I'm ready for that play if it happens. And I'm like watching the clock. I'm watching the clock, and I probably take my eyes off of it like at the exact moment it happens. I keep checking back. Oh, cause like I'm watching Alice and it happens during this, so that's why I don't see it. And like now I see it maybe, and I'm like did I miss it? I thought I was just looking at her. Like how did she do that? Um, but no, it's a low light. So yeah, I'm like pretty oblivious to how it happened. Um, and then and then he goes to a statue, which I know Duke was at earlier, but I didn't think it was like it was a decent amount of time ago, so it didn't feel like a green swap or anything like that, unless it was like stalled, which is also possible. And when this happens, I actually see the swap, and I remembered seeing like a low lit man there. Oh, General's at the other one. Because yeah, I said after the match too, but like I remembered a tall low light being there, and I thought it was General, but he was at the other one. So I bring him back up, but I don't bring Disney back up. And I'm like, who did that? And I'm also like considering the possibility that I missed the green swap and that the low light was swapping for someone that like kind of quickly got in, swapped and green swapped and got out. So yeah, I'm like totally not on top of it. Um, yeah, and obviously, I guess I should talk about the low light as well. So this is like a pretty hard low light, I would say. Like soft behavior low lights, I usually remember what they're for and I bring them back up. If I don't see like anything happening. But this sort of path where like this AIs do this a lot, where they're trying to turn into somewhere, and they just keep like trying to bounce around, and they just keep walking into the same person that's just walking in a straight line, and then he finally gets like a normal bounce off of it. So I was like, sure, I mean, it's early enough in the game, but I think that's reasonable to low light. And yeah, so that's kind of why like I didn't even think about bringing Disney back up. So I'm not even watching him for Purloin. And then like, and then there's this like the hand of God, hand of Disney moment where time is expiring. I'm not sure how much Nebula is aware that he has been low lit. Probably not, because after the game he was like, really. So I don't think he thought he was low lit. So that's probably why he takes this wide path, to hide the arm as much as possible and to not make it look like a bug. But failed planting bug while walking. Yeah, he doesn't get close enough in time. Fails right there. That is very close. And I don't think he realizes that it missed until like a second later. And by then there's only 2 seconds left. So he turns around and tries to bug again, and it does not take. It's like right when the guest list gets Purloin too, so there would not have been a hanging clock. I would have had to make a decision in 10 seconds. Yeah, this is a crazy game. If you missed any part of the cast, I highly recommend going to watch it because Warning Track was going crazy for this one. Yeah, really wild game. Somehow my sniper survived this and swept the series because this bug didn't take. This bug didn't take. Yeah, I mean, if I lose this game, like who knows what happens? I don't want to think about it. So yeah, after that 6.5 minute adventure on library, I even it out by doing a early time ad, a white one, which is very easy to shoot for. I even try to go for this little bug. Doesn't even let me go for it. I think I was too early anyway. Yeah, it missed, but we are dead. So now it's starting to get now it's starting to get pretty late in the set. I think I'm on match point because I thought it was 2-11, but it is first to 12. So I'm just trying to keep cool and win this sniper game. And this venue in particular, I'm ready for AI control because Nebula has done AI control in this venue multiple times against me. I'm not really sure why this one in particular. Maybe he wanted to do it more on like the 3 of 6 variant that has fewer guests, because like a low light is higher value or like more likely to be seen, I guess, than like the 15 or whatever people there are here. So yeah, I'm ready for that. I'm mostly just taking highlights and tracking progress. So this is like a general mission site plus flirt highlight. He's not as high as a suspect as you might think from this highlight. I am taking a lot of highlights in this game. Too much even for me, I would say potentially. But part of that is due to the AI control thing. Oh yeah, in case you were wondering if the library game was tilting, look at the ambassador. I don't think Nebula ever intentionally moves off of Taft, and maybe occasionally Tex. But we have a rogue Kane Amba. So yeah, just tracking Prince and Purloin. Um, I think this venue is like not very good for time ad, so I'm probably not tracking it as closely. Um, but yeah, a lot of highlights. Pretty much everyone that's not a low light is a highlight at this point. Kane Gaming. Let's skip through a little bit. Huh. Why did I... that was an interesting lighting on Taft there.
Banana bread.
So BB happens. I think it's a good one. Like, the only person who's out is already low lit. And then like this path happens. I haven't talked about pathing at all since like pub. I told you there wouldn't be very much pathing. Sorry if you were looking forward to that. So this path here, I think I did see it, and she turns in at the end. And I think if she was going here, like, she just needs to get around white dress. So if she was going here, she should have turned after she passed white. There's nothing to go around here. There's no reason to go out and then back in. And I think Nebula might have realized that he did this, because after he joins, he kind of spins his camera around. But you know, it's not like super obvious or anything, and there's like there's like people moving around her, so I'm not like mega confident that she does do this like late turn at the end. But I am watching very closely for Purloin. I'm very much watching for this reject or take, because like no one else is really like a high suspect at this point. Yeah, honestly, it was kind of refreshing, to Yasha's comment there, to listen to Slappy and Track, because they talked about having about as much as it was relevant to the set, which was like some, but not too much, you know. No disrespect to other casters, but a lot of the time when they cast my sets, uh, it's kind of like, oh, that person's highlight. It must have been for path, but my lights aren't really pathing based. At least not anymore. They are largely behavioral. So if I'm probably not highlighting people for path. So there's another reject here, and then here comes. It wasn't about you, Guggy. It was about everyone. The royal everyone. And honestly, I don't blame people necessarily, because it is what I'm known for, and like I said earlier, it's really hard to know what the sniper's thinking, unless you're like a god tier caster like Slappy Davis. So here comes the Purloin. I'm staring it down. I zoom in, which I rarely do. I zoom in so I can see this, and I'm like, it's fading. It's still fading, and I'm like, that looked really white. And I'm like, that was a white fade. And then like I spend the next 5 seconds thinking about whether it could have possibly been a green fade. And I had an internal struggle between whether I was more confident in my ability to see pathing and behavior, or my ability to see fades on Purloin. And after a few seconds, I realized I'm a fucking idiot if I think I can see fades. So I take the pathing and behavior path, and thankfully take the correct shot. If I shot pearls here because I misread the fade and I lost, like, I don't know, I would have retired or something. Oh, you told them that, Nebula? I appreciate that then. Yeah, because I don't think you definitely weren't doing very much pathing. I didn't talk a whole lot about your sniper, but I did notice that the lights. Like, what venue was it? Was it gallery? Like gallery, so gallery has like a lot of pathing stuff in it. Um, Especially if you play it as often as Nebula does. But like you scroll to the end of the game, and like this is 45 seconds left, no BB yet. There isn't a single low light. I was actually kind of shocked when I saw this. I was actually kind of shocked. And yeah. I mean, like there were some things, like if I was a suspect for anything, like you could potentially catch that I'm running over the ambush feet here. Um, I think my statue exit was actually pretty good, but yeah, I think Nebula made a conscious decision to not try um, to not watch for pathing too much, because it's probably more of a waste of attention than actually watching for missions. So we get past the sniper win, and I'm like, is that the last game? Like, is it over? And I was like, no, it's first to 12. And then he reminds me, he says, when you win, don't leave the game, because, you know, people are spectating. We don't want the live cast to be spoiled. And I'm like, oh, right, yeah, I'll stay. And he's like, you asshole, I could still tie this. And I was like, oh, right, I am an asshole, and I'm probably cursed now, and I'm going to lose. But thankfully, that didn't happen. And I spawn as Kane way back in the corner here. I'm just kind of hanging out in the kitchen. And at this point, like, I'm Kane gaming, so I have to. I'm like, okay, let's go for the bug here. Like, if it takes, like, I win, and if it doesn't, like, or if I get shot for it, then it's whatever. I can just play more sniper games, right? Unfortunately, it doesn't take, which is extra unfortunate because it wasn't being guarded that hard. Like, if it takes, I probably win. But yeah, I'm not too concerned. I'm still gonna play, like, I'm still gonna make some sort of play that puts pressure on the sniper, which ends up being a swap here. So I do the flirt. I actually do like a little adjustment, which is not right. Like, this is the kind of thing I might notice if I was sniping, like this adjustment. But I wanted the 50%, so I do make that little adjustment there. I do my inspects. And I think I might have seen him like rotate back, so I go for the green swap. This is my third green swap of the set. Doing him a lot. Then I'm thinking maybe contact flirt, but DA leaves, so I don't. She makes that choice for me, And at this point, I'm saying, okay, flirt, inspect probably. And something fortunate happens here. And if I was thinking about it, like I probably would have requested, but I wasn't this smart. So Toby requests, or Toby offers to me. I'm like, okay, this is actually great because I can reject here. And like Kane just came from the statue, and he's also next to General again. So if he notices that, this is like a triple threat going on here, where Kane is getting a reject. So this could be a purloin. And then Kane is going to statue, so he could be swapping this. So this purloin needs to be watched. This swap needs to be watched. But also he just came from a different statue, and that needs to be watched. And so by the time Sari picks it up, he doesn't rotate it in time to see the swap. And I think Nebula said that like he assigned more suspicion to Sari in this case because she had a drink and she got summoned to the statue. And generally speaking, AI with open free hands are summoned to statue, but in this case, there was only twin, and the DA can't get summoned, so it picked Sari. It picked Sari, and that's what got her shot. And I don't think she really did anything else this game. Sorry. No pun intended. Like, she takes a drink. Oh, it's printable. She takes a print. So that might have been like a behavioral thing that contributed. She clearly doesn't get a second print, but she also does kind of spawn next to the Amba, although it's definitely not long enough to get a bug. You think it really did pick her, or she just pathed there naturally? Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not exactly sure like what the threshold for like closest person and closest person with free hands is, like where it switches there. Yeah, certainly it is possible. Is there anything weird about? I mean, it's hard to say. Actually, wait. No, that's just Twin pathing around her ghost. I was about to say, like, did Twin just redirect off the statue or something? Like, was he getting summoned? But I don't think that's what happened there. The timing is very much in line with getting swap called, yeah. Yeah, I was actually wondering about that too, Ada. If the fact that she doesn't have to go per drink, like, does that matter? It might. It could very well. But yeah, I deliberately goaded this statue that's kind of the hardest to see, so that he needs to pay attention to this as well as the list as well as this. Kind of what happened on a game against Minurek. On this one, I got lucky to some extent because so I do this swap, and then I'd contact, and then I come here, and he needs to guard this swap, but there's also this Amba here. So even if I leave the statue without swapping, he needs to watch for this. Like, because if I put it down and just leave while he's rotating around, I could just win off of that. But while all that's happening, while there's so much threat over here, it's Sari again. She's just out here winning spy games for me. So yeah, while Sari swapping the statue, there's too much threat over here, and he doesn't catch it in time. Last score update. So yeah, that was the final game. When I knew it was match point, I had to pick Kane, of course. Had to do it for Koopa. Kane gamers, stay winning. Winter Cup champion is actually Kane. AI won't be called if they have to gulp. They'll bounce around if there's no valid target. Yeah, I think I remember seeing something like that on Terrace. Thank you for the GGs. I appreciate it. And congrats to Kane, Mr. D. I guess I did want to talk about like nerves in competitive, and kind of like what changed between Summer Cup 22, which was the last cup I played in, and now. Thinking of spelling update, please. That's funny. Yeah, I didn't even think about spelling and stuff. I think I was randoming almost every game except for this one. Yeah. Cause yeah, like I was saying, like back in Summer Cup 22, like I had really bad nerves, and like even the match before semis, like the one against Sauerkraut, like the one I was winning, I was like up by 2 venues. I was like dying inside. I was like miserable. Like, I just wanted it to end. And I don't know if I've said this before, but I actually used to drink. I used to drink when I played competitive because I just couldn't handle it otherwise. It probably made me play worse, but I didn't feel as bad, so it was a compromise. And another thing about the nerves is that it kind of did affect my my sniping style, because part of the reason I had to path snipe was that I was like a reasonable mission counter / mission watcher, like when I was doing dailies and stuff, like even Summer Cup 21, like I could get like 4 or 5 wins on daily 7, which I think was like pretty good. Like it's good enough to not lose like 8-4 to Quicklime in group stage, because I was like so badly nervous that anything when it came to like memory would just not work when I was playing comp. It would just like fly out of my head. So pathing kind of helped me just like focus on one thing. And like if I see it, then I see it, and if I don't, then I don't have to worry about it. But now I can actually just kind of play comp the same way I play dailies, and just kind of mix everything in, including pathing. So I think that was pretty huge, for just like kind of results, yes, but also in terms of not falling apart during sets, not tilting, things like that. And I can't really like sit here and tell you why that happened or like why that change occurred, but I can kind of like, because I don't know either, but I guess for the sake of like helping other people that have these kinds of issues, I can kind of talk about like what I think might have contributed. And I think one of the things was, um, so I did SML last year, and I used to be like a hardcore prepper, hardcore researcher, like just like endless replay, sniping, shit like that. And I think it was just like giving me more like stress and like self pressure in a way. Um, because it feels bad to lose a game or like a match in Spy Party, like an important match in Spy Party. It feels bad to lose an important match. So you do a lot of prep and research, so you have a better chance of winning, and it won't feel as bad. But if you do all that stuff and you lose anyway, then it feels worse. Um, so I was like, for my own sake, I just decided that I wasn't gonna do like so much and like put so much pressure on myself during SML, and I lost a lot of sets. And honestly, it was like pretty liberating. Like I didn't like after the fact, it was like, oh, whatever. Like I lose and it happens. I get demoted, but it doesn't necessarily mean I'm a worse player. It's just, uh, yeah, I just lost some sets. So what? So I think that helped. That experience in SML of just like losing a lot without um, putting too much on the results. And um, another thing that happened uh, was Megalodon Motel, where where I was kind of playing it with the same mindset of just just play to have fun. Don't worry about it too much. And of course, I thought I was just gonna have a nice chill time in the Megalodon Motel, but Nebula joins, who had beaten me in the Summer Cup the year before. My source of trauma was back to haunt me when I'm just trying to have a good time here. But weirdly enough, even though I was like, so I was, I'm still not gonna prep or like be too stressed out about it. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just play, and if I lose, I lose. We already learned this. It's not gonna be, it's not gonna be as stressful this time. Um, like, yeah, I'll probably lose, but it won't feel bad. And the weird thing was, I won, even though I wasn't trying nearly as hard to come up with ways to beat Nebula because I felt like I needed to. I was just playing like my normal game, and in fact, in fact, he was the one that was like kind of game planning against me, which I wasn't really expecting because in my mind, he's way better than me. So like I need to make plays to beat him. Um, but the way the set played out, it kind of felt like he was having to play me. And I actually recently saw a meme that felt appropriate. I know we have some chess players in the community, but if you don't know who this is, it's Hikaru Nakamura, who's a top chess player, and Magnus Carlsen is like the best chess player maybe of all time. And it really reminded me of kind of the mindset or like the change in how I view these kind of sets against really good players, where I felt like I was on my back foot and like, oh, I have to play Nebula. But after that set, I kind of realized like these guys have to play me too. Like I'm not the one that's stressing out, or I'm not the only one that's stressing out. But yeah, So I guess that kind of gave me confidence as well that I can just play my game. I can play my game and win against really good players. And yeah, wrestler, I did play Legorov twice, and I beat him as well. Um, and I know he wasn't like on top of his game. He wasn't like grinding. But actually, something happened in the finals as well, uh, where I think the that mentality kind of helped. Because I was down pretty big, so I lost one sniper game, two sniper games. Yeah, I was down 8-3. I was down 8-3 in the set. Um, but I didn't really like it. Didn't really change the way I played. I just kept playing, and I ended up winning the last 7 games, I think. Yeah, the Terrace sniper, and then I swept Moderne, and then balcony. So yeah, I think like those things, like the SML experience and Megalodon Motel, um, like just totally changed how I viewed like competitive spy party, I guess, because I used to just not be good at all, um, at like 1v1 games in general. Because I don't know, I just felt like there was like too much individual pressure, I guess. Um, so I kind of preferred team games where both the blame and the praise was like shared, and it was all like a cooperative effort and all that. I guess because I didn't deal too well with like all the pressure being on me, but yeah, I just don't feel that way anymore. So competitive sets don't really affect me mentally, and I try not to take it for granted because it used to be really bad, and I can't like pinpoint a single event that just caused this drastic change. But yeah, I know like Scout was posting um, a while ago about like a set they had, and they were like on the verge of like throwing up, and I could relate to that because there were sets before where like I just felt unwell, and I just wanted to just stop. Um, so yeah, uh, hopefully, people who have those kinds of like anxiety or confidence issues can get something out of that, out of my experience. I feel like that mentality won Miniorek two SMCs. Yeah, I feel like Miniorek probably kind of plays like that too. Um, he doesn't play the game very much, does he? Like I have him on my Steam friends list, but he's never like I never see hours on there. He just kind of rolls up to his matches and plays them, and does something else the rest of the time. Which yeah, clearly it works for him. And yeah, I also like I do dailies and stuff to not get rusty or whatever, but I don't do like hardcore prep like I used to. I don't grind anymore. Um, that's basically because um, I realized that I don't need to do that. I can just play normally, and I still have a pretty good chance of winning. And even if you don't win, then it's fine. Like nothing really changes because you lose a match of Spy Party. Losing doesn't mean you're a worse player, and winning doesn't mean you're better even necessarily. It just means you won or you lost. I'm sorry, Nebula. Glory to Artotska. Yeah, some stress, but the kind that helps. Yeah, like during the match, I was like pretty locked in. Um, but I was just like really focused. Like I get really focused during matches, but I just don't get like jittery, I guess. And I definitely don't have to drink anymore, which is good. I'm just like I just make like a cup of coffee and that's it. Because when I snipe dailies, I often get sleepy, so I don't want that happening during a competitive set. Um, Chilling in finals except the first game. Yeah, I guess I was kind of like that too. I mean, the first game I was like, oh shit, because my action tests were fucked. But yeah, yeah, I used to like kind of kind of not dread, I guess, but like because it was like I was so nervous during semifinals in Summer Cup that I was like, how freaking bad is it going to be like if I ever made a finals? But yeah, somehow somehow not bad at all.